Hey guys, welcome to Creativity Level Zero. I'm Steve,
I'm Jim.
and let's just get right into it. So, guess what, Jim?
What?
I think I told you earlier, but
Wait a minute. You sound different, Steve.
oh, I do. That's true, guys. I had decided for you, the folk, to invest in a semi-professional microphone with that little like pop filter thing that comes in the front to stop my plosions. I don't know what that word is, but all the people in the know what plosions are.
hmm You sound beautiful.
Oh, why? Thank you. This is my natural voice now.
Oh,
I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad
that
thing,
explains it.
but
It is interesting because you and me have this real life and virtual friendship, and so there's you in person who sounds like you, and then there's you on the computer who sounds like computer you.
that's
But
right. And telephone me probably also sounds completely
ooh, that's
different.
right. But
That's right.
now they've just merged into one.
If only I could set up this microphone for my cell phone, then
Ooh.
I'll always sound the same.
Mm-hmm. Sounds good.
I do want to apologize, guys. There is a storm outside, and I don't know if you'll be able to hear the thunder or anything, but hopefully we'll be good and my electricity won't go out, and Jim's gonna have to do this podcast solo.
That would be horrible. That'll be me taking tangents and nobody laughing.
I was gonna say, who's gonna laugh at your jokes now?
I'll be sad. I'll have to bring up a stuffed animal to laugh. So wait, is this the Hurricane Laura now, or is Hurricane Laura this weekend?
It's this weekend.
So what is
So,
this? This is just
in
storm.
case you guys don't know, 2020 just wants to keep being 2020, and there's a double hurricane about to hit.
What's a double
Uh,
hurricane?
Double hurricane. There's two hurricanes back to back that are going to hit Texas and Louisiana, and then they're going to rotate right up here to New Jersey, New York. Granted, that trajectory would mean it's over land for so much that over here it
Won't be as
won't be
big.
bad,
Mm-hmm.
but I feel bad for Texas right now. It's going to be. They had said the storm surge is unsurvivable.
What?
That sounds catastrophic. So I'm kind of worried for any of our Texan listeners right
Uh-oh. Be safe, guys.
Yes.
I always, you know, I
Listen
always.
to evacuation. There's a reason they
Oh,
make
that's
you
right.
evacuate.
Yeah, I always wondered about people who buy the houses by the beach with the stilts. You know, like I, I gotta be honest. I think that's a cool idea
It
for
looks nice,
a
right?
weekend
It's
vacation.
aesthetically pleasing.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and like if I'm gonna go for a little vacation to someone else's Airbnb, I love it. But
Right.
the storms have been brutal in this area. Like I can't imagine those homes surviving.
No, if there's any of those homes in Texas, nah. I mean, the good thing is that your home now becomes like a mobile home.
That's right.
So
Jump on in.
just all gonna float away on that platform.
What if you built a home that was like completely watertight and it could turn into, and it's got like a propeller on it and it could turn
In
into a submarine.
anticipation of structural failure and ending up in the water.
Yeah, you know you're going to end up in the water, and maybe it's got those amphibious treads on it or something too.
That'd be really cool.
That'd be
There we
cool.
go. Man, we come up with the best ideas
We
on this
do.
show.
This, why aren't
We
we
gotta start
millionaires?
patenting that stuff,
hmm
you
That's right.
know?
So you didn't ask me what happened to me this week.
Well, I didn't say what happened to me this
Oh, what
week.
happened to you this week?
That's right. I said I might have told you before, but I know I was gonna let the world know that
The
my
world.
beautiful old horrible Honda Accord is
Oh
finally on its last
no.
legs.
Old
My
Betsy.
car,
Oh,
old
Betsy.
Betsy, she's on her last legs.
Oh
I
no.
tried to start her up at work, and
Pup, pup, pup,
it,
pup,
it
pup,
didn't
pup,
even
pup.
it didn't even give like a putter or a chug. It was you turn that key and nothing,
Nothing.
not a single
There was like
sound at
not
all.
today, Steve.
Yeah, exactly. And the battery's working, so like the radio's playing happy music, and my head's down, like, oh no, not again.
Oh no, Betsy.
Betsy.
So did you get somebody to jump it?
So it doesn't need jumping because it's not a battery issue.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah, but I've had this issue in the past with old Betsy, and I thought I fixed it, but I guess not.
Those guys never fix cars when you take them to
I
auto
tell you,
shops.
they tell you they get you a new part. It's not a new part.
No.
Some part. One of their best friends was like, "Yo, I'll hook you up. I'll give you, this starter for." $80, and you could just charge that person 160.
That's right. Literally, when you go to get your car fixed, it reminds me of Star Wars Episode 1 with the junkyard guy, the little flying fat guy.
Watto. Yeah.
And he'd be like, "Oh, I'll fix your ship. Let me go to the back." And he's pulling out like rusty springs and stuff. And he's like, "I got the parts. I got the Nubian engine." And you're like,
yeah,
really?
Oh, it's a rare engine. It's gonna run you a lot.
I know. That's what reminds me of you. You pull into the place and they're like, "Oh yeah, one of them old starters. I could get a new one from Japan. That'll cost you."
It's a Honda. You should have plenty of those.
I know. They take it out of your car and they're like, "Good as new." Let's shove back in.
Like the old NES cartridges, they just blow on it.
And they're like, "It worked this time. He won't notice."
Yeah, exactly.
I had an issue with my car just like that, where I took it in, and the check engine light was on, and they were like, "Oh, one of your fuel sensors is broken," and I was like, "Oh, that's interesting. Like, do I have more of them?" They're like, "Yeah, you got like 4 in the car, but you should have them all fixed. It helps like your engine know how much fuel to put in." And I was like, "Seems to be working fine now. How much does it cost?" They're like, "Well, this sensor, we got to take open the engine to get it. They put it in the deep depths of the engine. It's going to cost you a few $100. And
There's a sensor in the middle of the engine?
It senses how much fuel goes in when it does the explosion.
Oh, okay.
And so I told the guy, I was like, "I don't think I want to pay for that," because this was the old Phoenix, So I was like,
Right.
If it runs, it runs. And so he's like, "Well, I'm not going to be able to reset your check engine light. It's against Toyota policy for us to reset the check engine light when we didn't fix the problem." So I was like, "Don't worry about it. I got one of those check engine light fixers in my car." And I got one of those things you plug it in and it just resets the check engine light.
Yeah.
And it tells you like what the error is.
Right.
That's what I feel like. They just jip you in, who would have known if they fixed that or not?
Yeah, exactly. I don't know. So, I mean, the people who fixed it was
not the dealer.
It was a coworker who was a buddy, and he was like, "Oh, Steve, I know a guy. He'll fix this for real cheap." Okay, I want to fix things for real cheap. I'm down for that. And then this is what happens, it breaks immediately. So yeah, in little word of advice for you guys: if your starter ever goes, it's the starter if it's just not starting. But you still have electricity, so it's not the battery.
Right.
But you just have to find where your starter is on your engine. Take like a long metal rod of some sort, like a screwdriver or something.
We do not.
Warning,
this is not solicited by our show. These are the opinions of Steve only. Go to an authorized car professional for your needs. Okay.
No. Okay. And then you just take a hammer and you just whack that metal rod onto the starter like a good, nice hard hit. Not too hard that you're gonna take the starter off somehow.
Yeah.
But a good strong hit. And then someone needs to be smacking that starter as someone else is turning the ignition key. And then that's it. It starts. Look at that. Wow. And so we did that. But I needed someone else in order to do that. One, I didn't have a long metal rod to use. I should start carrying one around in my car.
No, you have the tire changing rod you could use.
Oh, I didn't think about it, but I didn't have a hammer either. Like, I wasn't going to start piercing.
At this point, I don't know what you're doing.
And just spearing my engine with a tire iron.
Yeah, it might work.
But yeah, so I went back in, asked some of my coworkers to help, and
And
one, it was
nobody.
very difficult to try to find the starter. I couldn't figure out what was the starter. You open up your engine,
Yeah.
everything kind of looks the same. You're like,
Mhm.
I don't know. You have to just Google
Yeah,
what a
where it is.
Honda 2006 Honda
Oh, you didn't
Accord.
have the manual thingy book.
I did have the manual
Oh,
thingy book,
she
but I
usually
just
tells you.
Googled.
Okay.
Yeah, I just
And
Googled it
nobody in your
instead.
company was like, "This is a bad idea."
No, no, no.
Hmm.
I got the guy.
Geniuses.
So one of the guy who helped me is like a car mechanic, pseudo car mechanic on the
He's
side.
the guy that helped you.
He just does the basics like tune ups and stuff. Like he just does the basics as far as I know. I don't think he does anything too complicated.
Okay.
He'll
No
do
street
like
racing.
timing belts and just things that don't require you to take apart the engine.
Right.
And so he came out to help me, and so he was the one that banged on the starter, and then
Oh,
we got
okay.
it starting. Yeah. And so he was the same guy who then told me, Steve, I got a guy. He can get you a new starter for 120. He's like, oh, I need a new starter for 120.
Oh my
So I did
god.
it again, but I was like, I don't want to pay to have this car fixed again
Right.
because old Betsy's on its last legs, and so I
Dude.
just need this to last a few weeks to a few days to a few weeks. When I get a new car, I just want to be able to convince the dealers that they can give me some money for it.
Right. Right. Like this car still runs,
Yeah, exactly. It still runs. So that's what I wanted it to do. I wanted it to still
but
run,
not right
at
now.
least to some degree. And so I didn't want to invest that much money in. And so the guy, my coworker, who's the mechanic on the side, he's like, Steve, you and I could do this in the parking lot at work. You
Wait,
just
we
need
could fix the thing.
the starter. Yeah, me and
Okay.
you, we'll fix the starter in the parking lot at work, and just buy the piece. And then he found me the piece for 120, and I
Okay.
came. So this was yesterday.
Came with the
We
cash.
I came with the starter. I had the
Oh,
starter,
okay.
and then we pop open the trunk
The
and
trunk? Oh, the hood.
the hood. Sorry, we pop open the hood, and it only took like 2 bolts. Removed it. We had to remove the battery first, of course, in order to get to the starter. But just 2 bolts. Pop the starter off. Put the new starter in. An hour. That's all it took us,
Okay.
and now it worked. It's working fine. It's
Okay.
great. And I just want to say that if I had brought that into the shop, they would have been like, "Yeah, this was 4 hours of labor, and
We
you
charge
know,
our guys $30 an hour here.
$30 an hour, 4 hours of labor. You got a few pieces in order to get to it,
Mm-hmm.
and meanwhile, we're amateurs, and we did it in an hour. We had no idea what we were doing. What the car,
That's right.
and it took us only an hour to do it. So
All
now I
right.
know.
So I just Googled it for you while you were here. The
Googled what?
average, the average price is between 350 and 550 to have them replace your starter.
Okay.
And it says the piece is about 130 to $170.
Yeah, I got it for 120. Yeah.
So that makes about sense. So you would have been paying like an extra $300 for the labor. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's crazy. Man, so now you have the starter. So
Yeah.
it
So
runs right now.
now it's
Wait,
all
so
fixed.
Betsy
Now it's
runs.
all
Oh, so you
it
got
works.
plenty of time.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh,
Uh,
Betsy's back.
that's right. Old Betsy's back. But something profound happened to me during this experience with this car.
Okay.
That I had a lot of people that were willing to like come to my aid. Like not a lot of people have that. This is
True.
like a heartfelt thing that I'm saying right now.
Oh, that's true.
But I was surprised at how many people were willing to like help me through like these troubled times. And I know even you, Jim, you were willing to like
That's true.
come over and possibly drive me around to do car shopping
That sounded terrible.
you would have, yeah. Car shopping is horrible. Yeah.
You know what it is? I think you've picked friends who have done favors for far worse. And the favors that you ask are nothing. Like when you
Right,
asked
right.
me, I was just like, okay. Like it didn't matter because I've been asked for much more from less of a friend. So it's like, so now you're kind of like, I just have to drive, like, you
Yeah.
know,
Just have to drive you
like
around
the
for.
bar for friendship, I think, is moving for free. And I've had people help me move, and I've helped people move. And to
Right.
me, that's like, if you're willing to take a day and do something as terrible as moving with all the stress, because moving is stressful because things break,
Yeah.
there's always problems, it costs a lot of money. If you're willing to do that for a day and not get paid, then like you meet the minimum friendship bar.
Well, I feel like you should at least pay them pizza
Yeah. Take them out to
or
pizza
Taco
or
Bell.
order, yeah. Oh, Taco Bell, yeah. That's true. Couldn't go 10 minutes without talking about Taco
No, no,
Bell.
we lasted 15.
Oh, man. Well, I'm glad Betsy's fixed.
Yes.
I am gonna just say right now, let's just set a precedent for the until you get your new car. Maybe I drive us around, just to be safe.
Well, I plan on getting it this weekend. So,
Yeah. Well, that'll be
so
good.
we'll
Car
see.
shopping's fun. The weird,
No, it's not.
the thing. So here's the
It's
thing that I never understood about car shopping. Okay.
hmm
We live in the age where you don't haggle for anything. Okay. The price is the price, except for cars and houses, which are so expensive.
and health insurance and health.
Oh,
Yeah,
and health. Yes.
you can supposedly haggle your health prices, guys.
Okay.
That's
But
something you don't know. That if you and they're willing to haggle a lot more if you don't have insurance. They'll just pretty much charge you to bare minimum
they'll be
for
like, whatever you
stuff
can,
if you
just
don't
give
have
me your
insurance.
wallet. We'll see what we can do
Yeah.
here. Look, he's got like $50 and 2 gold coins. Maybe we could fix his knee. I don't know. But yeah, I never understood because like you go to buy the car, and I just did this recently. Like my car's like 3 years old now, and it
Right.
was like you get there and you're like, well, this is how much money the car costs on the internet everywhere.
Right.
So why is yours more money? And then they're just like, well, mine's got the super duper warranty platinum sunscreen approach. And you're like, why don't you just sell me the car? And they're like, oh, well, then we got to take a hit. You got to trade in. It's like, I don't understand. Why is that still a thing?
Why is haggling still a thing for cars?
For
I don't know.
cars.
Yeah, I don't know. It should just be a set price, but that's because it's like part of the culture.
It's
Because
so weird. Why are they even salesmen?
because it's the same thing with it's no it I think it's any sort of service. Maybe not.
I mean, I
Like
could see to
going to the
upsell you.
barber. Sometimes I guess the barber you can like haggle with them.
Hi,
No, you
welcome.
cut my hair for 15.
It's like,
not
hi, welcome
20.
to Great Clips. Can I cut your hair? Sure. All right, looks like it's $15. Yeah, how about like 13? It's like everybody here. The price says 15 on the wall. Like, what do you?
No, I know. There's like if you get like a good relationship with like with a barber
Sure.
or something,
For like
they can
mom
be
and
like,
pop
yeah, I'll
things.
cut your hair for 12.
Sure, but we're talking about a one-time purchase here.
Yeah,
You're
yeah.
buying a car. I guess I just never understood it, and it's weird because like they know you know, and you know they know, so it's like
Right.
you're all in on it. So why don't you just sell me the car?
Yeah, exactly.
It's weird, and I can tell you from experience because I went to go buy my car, and I was like, I'm gonna go and just buy a Toyota Camry. I just want the basics, but like apparently now they make cars that what I consider basics aren't even included, which blows my mind. They're like, oh, you want the windows to work? That's 200 extra bucks. Like, what am I in the 80s?
You don't want the roll down.
Yeah, what am
window?
I in the 80s here? Who doesn't want power windows? And why do I have to put power windows? Are windshield wipers on the thing too? So the power windows was on it. He was like, it's 200 bucks more. I'm like, do you even have one without power windows here? Like that I can look at? Because do people even buy that? Who's gonna go buy a brand new car? They're gonna spend like $15,000 and be like, I can't afford the 200 extra for the windows. What? So like things like that kind of threw me. But when I got there, they always try to sell you the better than. Like you tell them what you want. I was like, I want the Toyota Camry. They're like, well, we got 3 types of Toyota Camrys here, Jim. We got the Toyota Camry Standard, the SE Standard. You probably don't want that. We got the CE, the Coupe, and we got the LE, which is like the luxury. I'm
Right.
like, oh,
Limited
what's,
edition.
yeah,
That's what
whatever.
everything.
And
Yeah.
I'm like, I just want the one that was right out there that looked like the regular black. You have 50 black Toyota Camrys. Just give me that one. I was like, well, if you want a Toyota Camry cheap, you should be looking at the used ones. I was like, well, I don't want a used one. I bought a used one last time, and then I rode that thing into the ground. And so the guy was
Right.
like, he's like, well, the next cheapest option is old models that we couldn't sell. So yeah, I'll take a
Right.
look. I'll take a look. So I walked around the lot with the guys like, oh, we couldn't sell that one because of blah, blah, blah. Couldn't sell that one. Oh, this one has instead of the leather, it has the felt and the felt, and people don't like the felt on this type of car. I'm like, okay. Like, you're walking around, you're looking at all these defects, but they're perfectly fine cars.
Yeah.
And then the car you sit, or the one I'm in, the reason why people didn't like it was because, I don't know if you noticed, when you sit, the seat is like half leather, half fabric.
Right.
You might not have noticed, but like it's half and half. And apparently that's just not popular. And so they couldn't sell them. So he's like, yeah, you can get this one for a discount, but it's half fabric, half leather. I'm like, sure. Like, I don't care. Like, what?
I feel like it's almost their own doing because they probably just want people to buy the leather.
Yeah, exactly. Because it's more
I'll
expensive.
sell the leather. It's like, why wouldn't you want the leather? I hate leather seats. I don't want leather seats.
Yeah, I mean, they do crack. I like what I got.
Not only do they crack, then in the summer it's like impossible
it's so
to sit
hot.
down.
Yeah. It's so hot.
You can't get that stuff wet. Like,
That's right.
It's inconvenient. Leather looks nice, terrible to have.
Well, I don't know if you remember on the Phoenix, the steering wheel was peeling because the Phoenix was actually an expensive car. That was Toyota Camry, but the guy who bought it got like the souped up model. He got like the Primo, which
Right.
I never understood. You're buying a Camry. It's not a BMW. Like, he got the sunroof. Remember, I had the sunroof and all the things.
Right,
I'm not going to pay $1,000 for a sunroof.
Yeah.
Right. So even the steering wheel was just like fancy leather, and the thing is, if you get that wet, it starts to peel. And I had to go out and buy this like leather oil that you rub on it to like stop it from peeling. But after a while, I had that car for like over 10 years. It just started to peel more and more. I had to buy a cover for the steering wheel, a steering wheel like cover.
Yeah.
Because it was deteriorating. And like leather does that. Whereas like had you just had regular plastic, which is what a lot of cars have, you'd be fine.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Plus when we're talking about the heat, when you're sitting on leather and you got a little bit of sweat under your leg, it just sticks. You get that.
That's the worst.
You're lifting up.
Worst.
It's the worst. Yeah.
Yeah. The only reason I got rid of the Phoenix was because of the rain. Like, my parents really wanted me to get rid of it, but one time I went to Disney World or Disneyland, wherever one's in Florida. Was that
Disney World?
Yeah. And I come back, and by the way, when I travel, I park in the commuter parking lot, wherever. It's like $8 a day or whatever the price is. But you're like out in the middle of nowhere, right? And your car's out there in the elements. I get back, and my car smells like mold, and the bottom,
mold?
and where my feet are, it's like damp. And like, when you see the car and it's like foggy on the inside? That's what it looked like, but it was like 100 degrees out. It was hot. And I remember thinking, like, what the heck happened here? And
Did somehow water get inside your car?
Yeah, somehow water got in. So I ended up cleaning it, and like that was that. And like I never had that issue again. So it's like, what freak action? I actually thought I was getting a little paranoid. I was like, maybe someone broke into my car, and like while they were in there, they spilled water. And like they spilled the water bottle. Like
the worst thief ever.
Yeah. He's like,
stealing stuff in your car. Yeah. Shaking a water bottle.
Because I keep nothing in my car. So like,
it's 100 degrees out while your car's stealing.
Yeah, he might get hot, and like he's probably in there being like, "Oh, this guy's got nothing in here," and he drops his water, and it goes everywhere. But then
now you got mold.
That's right. And a year later, when I was at work, we had a massive storm, and I went out to my car and I saw water on the floor, and then I was kind of like, all right, water's getting in somehow, and I had to start bringing a rag, and I would put it on the floor, and then I would squeegee it up, squeegee
Right.
all the water, right? Then it was getting worse and worse because like more and more water was getting in. I'd have to bring towels and like just tie it up. And it wasn't an issue if you get it, within the day, because then mold doesn't grow. And I had the mold spray from the Disney trip, so I was fine. But then it got to a point where every time it was raining, I had to be like, oh, sorry. Like at work, I'd have to say, oh, I'm sorry, it's about to rain. I got to go move my car. Because I had to move it so the angle of the rain didn't hit the passenger side the way it had to hit to get the rain in.
Mm.
And so
So wait, where was the hole that the rain was getting?
So what ends up happening when your car is old, because that car is 20 years old. It didn't seem like it, but it's a 20-year-old car.
Uh-huh.
The actual rubber around the door, the sealant ends up deteriorating. Just gets tiny, tiny pores in it, just being used for 20 years. And when you get enough of those, water can like sneak its way in. And what happened was right where the window hit the sealant, which is where the door closed, it would like get a little droplet and then kind of go down all the way to the feet.
Right.
And so like I had two options. Because remember back then I lived in that apartment building complex. My car was outside 24/7.
Yeah.
So the first
Nowhere
option,
to hide it.
nowhere to hide. Well, you could pay to go under the ground in the building, but I was already paying thousands of dollars for rent. I wasn't giving them a dime. The first option was you could plastic bag the window, which is what I did for a long time.
I love watching those. I love seeing those on the highway.
So what I did was I took plastic bags and I put them like on the window, and then I rolled up the window, so the plastic bag was the sealant between the window and the car.
Right.
And so it looked really weird because it looked like you had plastic bags hanging out of your car. But it worked.
It worked?
It worked fine. It worked fine. But it got to the point where it was like every time it rained, it happened. And then it was like, I just couldn't deal with it anymore. I was like, I literally want to get a change. So I went to the dealer when I was, and when you're in PA, to get the registration, it's not free. You got to go to the dealer and like, it costs money. So I was going to get the registration done. And the guy was like, I was like, how much would it cost to replace the sealant here? He's like, that's cheap. That stuff is just like rubber. It's like probably a few $100 to replace everything. I was like, oh, okay. And I had the same thought you did. I was like, wait a minute. They're going to spend hours on this thing. This is, I see that guy over there eating Wendy's while he's supposed to be working. You know? So yeah, I just got the new car.
Yeah, it boggles my mind that they're like, yeah, this was 5 hours of work. You're like, this is only an 8-hour day.
I know.
Did you only work on my car and one other car?
Right.
I see a whole room full of people.
That's right. It's so crazy, and that's why when I get my oil change, I always go to the Pep Boys near me. And I actually gave them a good review on Yelp because...
Oh, I gave Pep Boys a terrible review.
Oh, not Pep Boys. Jiffy Lube.
Okay.
Yes, I also... The Pep Boys by me is terrible.
I will use this podcast to advocate against Pep Boys because they are an awful company.
Same. I had that happen with Pep Boys also.
Yeah.
They're somehow expanding by me. They grew out of their place.
I don't know who keeps giving them money because I feel like everyone must have the same horrible first experience.
I mean, honestly, I'd rather go to the dealer now because at least they don't like waste my time. The Pep Boys guys, not only do they charge a lot of money, they also waste my time. And I brought my car in to get like I forget what it was. Like one of the suspension things had to get changed or something. And the guy was like, yeah, it'll take 2 hours. And I was like, I'm going to wait for 2 hours here so you could get the thing changed because I have other things to do. And like, I only have one car. So like, where am I going to go? Like, I'm not going to pay for Uber or, whatever. So I'm waiting and like, you can see into the thing. Like, and I see my car and I'm like, oh, The guy lifts the hood. He's doing whatever he's doing, and then like he's gone for a little bit, like long enough that you're like, what's going on here? So I ask, like, hey man, it's been 2 hours. What's going on with my car? I see it right there. And he's like, oh, that guy? He's out to lunch. It's like, what? He's allowed to go on to lunch with like not finishing the work? Oh, there's shift workers. We'll get to your car right away. And anyway, it ended up being hours. And it got to the point, so when I got my car back, I actually refused to pay. So like, because they charge you when you're done. And I paid with credit card, and I told them, I said, even though I pay with this credit card, I'm not paying this bill, and I'm going to call my credit card company and tell them not to pay this bill. And you guys, you'll deal with that when you deal with that. And the guy was like, well, you know, if you do that, they're going to like have these people come after you for money and blah, blah. I was like, I don't care. Because I know you wasted my money and my time on this. Like you said, it took you all these hours, and I'm right here. And it didn't take you all these hours. And that's actually...
they charged you then for the 4 hours?
It was like 6 hours. Yeah, they charged me for the whole thing. Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
And so like, you know, you feel like you're getting ripped off, but there's nothing you can do in the moment because they have your car. So I had to get my car. That's why I paid with the credit card. And then I just called my credit card company. I was like, look, don't pay this charge. And if they want to come after me for the money, that they can. And that's what ended up happening. They call you, and you either settle it on the phone, or like they do like a, what are they called? Like debt collector, I guess is the name of it.
Yeah.
Person like chases you down. But I talked over to like a customer service representative on the phone. I just told them what happened, and then they gave me the money back for the hour. So I just paid whatever the rate was for the normal fix. So I still paid, but not like the Pep Boys premium. I was like, forget it. Never.
No, my experience with them. I'm sorry, we're turning in this into a Pep Boys bashing moment.
Hey, they deserve it.
But I had issues with my power steering. Like it was just going. And so when I first went to Pep Boys, they said, "Oh, it's like a new pump that needs to be replaced."
Okay.
Changed the pump. Power steering was working about 2 months. Then it goes again. I'm like, what's the issue? I bring it back. Like, oh, it's the belt for the power steering. We didn't see it last time, you know.
Okay, yeah. It's on the house, buddy.
I wish.
Our fault. We missed it. Our fault.
Because they were like, well, you needed to replace the pump. And so then it was the belt. And then it was working again, 2 months, power steering goes. And I was like, what the heck's the issue? And then they're like, oh, there's a crack down like the entire power steering now.
Oh my.
So we need to replace like the main power steering, which was the most expensive. The most expensive fix. And I tell you, I told that guy off, and I'm coming here ever again.
Yeah, you're like,
but I went there again because,
oh my God.
Because a year later, the whole power steering broke again. And so, but I was under warranty at that point, and God, was he angry to
the guy? Wait, so he fixed it?
Yeah, he fixed it.
Oh, for because the Pep Boys warranty?
Yeah, it was the parts have warranty.
Oh,
yeah.
Thank goodness.
Yeah, but you still have to pay for labor. And they were like, dude, you know.
Honestly, whatever you want to call them, like car repair shops, dealership shops, whatever, biggest legal scams out there. They're the only place where they can not only
internet service providers also a mafia.
I think these are worse. Because not only do they make up their own prices and blatantly lie to you, but they have no accountability on what happens. At least with Verizon and Comcast, even though they're taking all my money, when the service goes out, they will reimburse me. So if I lose service for a week, they reimburse me for that week.
Right.
With Pep Boys, they make a mistake. Oh, well, you must have hit a pothole. Like, I didn't see that last time. Or, or something breaks, like you said, you still ended up paying.
Yeah, I still had to pay. They didn't give me a discount. I mean, they discounted
But that's the cheapest thing, is the parts.
Yeah, I know. They discounted the piece, not the labor, you know.
Stupid.
So
I wanted to tell you what happened to me this week.
Yeah, what happened to you?
It's exciting. Scary exciting.
My goodness.
All right.
Scary.
So there's 2 ways to tell this story, but I can only tell it once.
Okay.
You want the chronological real life order,
Oh God.
or do you want the here's what happened and then here's what I was doing order?
Well, is the chronological order? Am I gonna have to fast forward on TV shows?
You broke up, but it sounds like you wanted to fast forward.
Yes. Am I breaking up? Is the
A
ice
little
pack
bit.
not working this
No, I think
time?
that's fine.
Okay.
I could just tell the right what ended up happening though.
All right.
I
Go
guess it
for it.
doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. All right.
Just tell the story. I'm ready.
So
We're all.
yesterday,
This is the worst story
this
so
is
far.
yesterday. Yes, yesterday. Yesterday, you know, I have the camera outside my house. Yesterday, my
Mm-hmm.
camera was texting me like crazy that there was a lot of activity outside in my driveway. And so I
Okay.
look, and there are cops there. Now, remember, I used to have neighbor cops, but that guy just moved. So
Right. Right.
I'm kind of like, what's going on? So I go outside, and the cops are like interviewing all the neighbors. And they're like, sir, we see you have a camera. Like, can you pull up footage from like 5 in the morning? And I'm like, what the heck is going on? So it turns out that at around 5:15, there was some guy going around the houses just like trying doorknobs to see like if any were open so he could like sneak in and take stuff.
At 5 in the morning. That's scary.
It's scary. So
The heck?
when he said that, I was like, you know what's really funny? I got a text at 5 in the morning that I picked up some activity. And the guy was like, oh, can you like pull it up? And I pulled it up and I had the guy
No
on the
way.
camera.
Really?
Yeah.
Was he
no,
checking your
so
door?
I don't know if this is the guy or just a neighbor. It could just be my neighbor.
Right.
But it was right at it was like 5:09 and the guy was like 5:15. So it was right around that time. And the guy had a backpack on, which is not common for people our age or older.
Right.
And he went from my neighbor's house, like walked through my driveway and then like walked down the street. And
Oh,
again,
he didn't on your door.
didn't try my door. And again,
Okay.
it is weird to walk down my street. Where are you going? Everybody has driveways and has their
Yeah, it's
cars.
like a dead end by the end of your
Yeah,
street.
there's nowhere to go. So it's like I mean, if you had a pet, maybe. All right. So the weird thing was, last night's night, when it was happening, was the night I had Taco Bell. And I ate Taco Bell, but because I ate Taco Bell, I was mentally planning it. I didn't have a lot of food that day. I just had the Taco Bell. And
Right.
like I had like a small breakfast. So I was actually hungry because that's not, I had a chalupa and a cheesy gordita crunch. That's maybe
Oh, it's a lupa. Look at
yeah,
that. It's added into the
it's in
routine
the
now.
routine now. But
Oh
those two
my
sandwiches
goodness.
together are like 800 calories. And
Yeah.
when I go to Taco Bell, I need like over 1,000. Like 800 is not enough. So I woke up at 5 in the morning to make myself a peanut butter and jelly sandwich.
Right.
And at 5 in the morning, I was up and I got the text. And I remember being like, why is there movement outside? So I turned on my light, and you can see my light in the recording too. Like, because I was up.
Right.
And so the guy was like, then the police officer was like, did you have any issues? And I was like, I don't know. I was awake. My lights were on because I was eating a peanut butter and jelly sandwich. So it was just so crazy. So then an email came out to the development where they were asking for footage. And I find it really weird that somebody would come to our neighborhood to kind of poke around because every single house has cameras. You've seen my neighbor. They have cameras right outside their door and on their
Right.
driveway. Everyone else has the Ring doorbell or other cameras. So like, I have footage of it. I'm sure everyone else has footage of it.
Right.
It's
Right.
pretty
So
weird. Yeah.
this guy's definitely
I mean,
probably identified at this point with so many different cameras.
yeah, because like mine has his like side face, which is like pretty decent.
Right.
Like obviously I don't know the person, so I was just like, whoever that is, it is. Yeah.
Did you have
That's
to
what
like
that,
do a written statement or anything and like submit your stuff for evidence?
yeah, I did. I emailed the cop.
Yeah.
I sent him 3 emails. There was the video, and then like I zoomed in on the guy, like I paused it in like a CIS type thing where like I paused it and zoomed in on his face.
Zoom in, enhance.
Well, that's what
enhance,
happened because like the
enhance.
video that you see on your phone is like compressed. So I was like,
Right.
download full file, and then I was like, it's like enhance, zoom. And it was at nighttime, and so there's filters you can add and switch. So I was doing all that. Yeah.
Right, right.
So that's the exciting thing for this week.
That is awesome. I also had an exciting moment this
Okay.
week. But other than the car.
Two
But
exciting moments.
it's kind of the awful kind of exciting.
That's not good.
So a couple days ago, I went to a barbecue. And at the barbecue, I was starving. I think the entire day so far, I ate a cup of noodles.
Oof.
That was all I've eaten the entire day. So when I got to that barbecue, I couldn't. First of all, I was going to that barbecue with so much anticipation for snacks. I was so ready
Oh, of
to snack
course.
it.
They got chips and they got dip and whatever, right?
Yeah, exactly. I was so excited. And I got there and immediately started to dive into the chips. And then I found some cookies. And
Ooh.
then I found some cupcakes. So
What
I
kind of
just want to
cupcakes are we
say
talking here, by the way? Don't just say cupcake.
ShopRite cupcakes,
Yeah, but like,
the
are we talking chocolate with vanilla frosting, vanilla?
it was that mix where it was like the vanilla with the chocolate frosting and the chocolate with the
My
vanilla
favorite. I
frosting.
love to switch it up. I don't like the
Yeah,
double double. Like I don't like chocolate and vanilla, but I love
that's right.
the
That's right. Yeah,
flipping
they
flip.
switched it. Yeah.
Oh, so good.
Yeah. So there was like the ShopRite, and so yeah. So my dinner at that point, probably a quarter of a bag of chips because I can't have
You do eat a
terrible
lot of chips.
self-control on chips.
Yeah, you're bad with chips.
Terrible self-control.
Yeah.
And then there was these gourmet chocolate chip cookies. So I must
Okay.
have eaten half
Were
a
those the
dozen.
same ones that you served for me?
No, no, no.
Because those were
These,
good.
yeah, no. These were different. They were even softer. So you probably wouldn't like them.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're even softer. They were like the Dearborn Farms.
Oh no, I'll be all right with
Yeah,
these.
yeah, and so I had like 6 chocolate chip cookies.
6?
Then I had a
How big were
cheeseburger.
they?
They were like normal size. They were like the same size that we get. Where I don't know, like
Oh,
the size of the inside of my palm.
yeah, like a bigger than a regular Chips Ahoy.
Yeah, yeah. No, Chips Ahoy are tiny.
Yeah. Wow.
Bigger
And
than
a
those.
cheeseburger.
So yeah, so I had chips, then like 6 cookies, then a cheeseburger, and then 3 cupcakes.
Okay, that sounds like what I would have.
Yeah, so it was good. I was so happy.
Yeah.
And yes, then we just hung out, ate, played some board games, played
Mhm.
some video games, and then I was on my way home. And let me say that all that food started to hit right on that drive.
How far is this drive we talking?
It was from Homedale all the way to my house. So
Ooh,
it's
that's at
like
least 35 minutes.
35-minute drive.
Ooh,
And
that's a tough drive. When did it start hitting?
during this time of COVID, you're like, I don't know what's open for me to stay
Oh, wait, you immediately went into the what's open mentality?
Yeah.
It must have been bad.
Oh, it was bad.
Oh,
It was
man.
bad.
Wait,
Yeah.
so wait, when you got into the car, did it hurt when you got in the car?
No, I was completely fine. It was like 10 minutes into the drive and it was stomach cramps.
If it was 10 minutes in, you have to hold it.
Yeah.
25 minutes to go,
You're like, I've gone too far to go back.
you can't go back. Yeah,
I can't go back at this point. Plus, I'm on the major highway. I'm on the parkway.
yeah, it would take just as long to turn around.
That's right. That's right. And so I just continued my drive, and I was on the phone. Dad, I just need you to distract me. Just tell me funny stories the whole time. Meanwhile, it's close to 11 p.m. when I called him.
And he's like,
So-
Steven, get off the phone. I don't
Yeah,
wanna
he
deal with
was
this."
basically groggy and being like, yeah, I mean, I guess I'll try to keep you occupied.
Wow.
But you know how your brain works? The closer you get to home,
It knows.
it knows that the anticipation starts to build.
You start
And-
to sweat.
Yeah, well, so each progressive red light, and I swear there's more red lights the closer you are to home. Too.
Your street has so many red lights. That major road.
Yes, and they're not in sync. And
No,
so you're
they're
just
never
like,
in
stop
sync.
Go, stop go.
Oh my god. Did you make
And
it?
like as you're getting closer and closer, like it gets worse and worse, the feeling. And then you start to sweat
Ooh.
and you start doing breathing exercises
Yeah,
like
you're
you
like,
would
I
give
gotta
to a
hold my
pregnant
breath.
woman. Yeah.
The-
Just do your breathing, and you just rock back and forth, just
mm-hmm.
you're like, just 5 more minutes, Steve. You can do it. You can do it. Just psych yourself up. You're just like, you got this. You got this.
The the
And
the physical limits you pushed yourself to this
I know,
weekend.
I
It's great.
know. And I just remember like I had so much to carry too. I
Just
was
leave
like
it in the
pushing
car.
it on the side
You brought
because
stuff in?
yeah,
You're
I
a
mean, I wasn't
rookie.
gonna, I
You're
didn't
a
want to go back
rookie.
out.
You're a rookie. I would have just sprinted in.
I was worried to sprint, so that gets to the next part. So I finally park my car and I like grab everything real quick. I like get out, and it's like the anticipation is at its peak right here. Your body at that point is like, I'm already on the top. You're like, no, you're not. No, you're not. You're not there yet. And so I was so scared to open my legs. I just waddled like a penguin to the front door. I was like, I ain't giving you an inch. Just clenched those butt cheeks and just waddled to the front door. And I just, I fumble with the keys, and it's like your dexterity just goes out the door at that point. And just put in one key, and I'm like, damn, why do I have to have two locks? Fumble with the
Yeah,
key.
oh, you had the double lock. That's right.
That's right. And get in. And I just remember slamming the door shut. I didn't lock it or
Don't need
anything.
to.
Drop everything. I didn't even turn the light on in the bathroom.
Oh my god.
He immediately like sat down, and I just made it.
Oh my god. The worst part about this story is that I don't think this is the first time I've heard a story like this. It's like this guy's body is trying to tell him something. And he's like, no.
Stop eating cupcakes.
Oh, that must have been terrible.
Oh,
I mean,
yeah.
if you ever drive that long, and I do it at your house all the time, if I know I'm eating something that's dangerous, I preemptively leave. I just don't even risk it. I'm like, look, we just had this calzone. Remember I had that calzone at your house?
That's
And
right.
it was like a pound of cheese. After we ate the calzone, I left. I was like, I can't risk it. I can't stay here because my body will not digest this tonight. And like in an hour, I don't know where I'm gonna
A
be.
normal person, would just say, "Oh, my body can't digest this properly. Maybe I shouldn't eat it."
We looked at it as a challenge. We're like, look at how much cheese he put in. I guess I have to eat it all.
It's gonna taste so good, and you know what? Let's see if we can just make it home right after eating it.
Yeah, so I preemptive leave if that's the case. And I do that also, for some reason, alcohol does that to me too. If I have like too much, it's beer.
Beer.
It's just
Yeah,
beer.
beer.
Yeah. If it's wine or like vodka or whatever, it doesn't. But if it's beer, yeah, I'll do that.
Maybe you have celiacs, Jim.
I mean, I have IBS, so
Right.
I feel like at some point the doctors were just like, look, we keep getting people coming and complaining about stomach issues. I don't really know what it is, do you? And the other doctor's like, nah, man, like, there's just something wrong with this guy's stomach. Something wrong with this. Let's just group them, and we'll all call them IBS. And that's going to be the title that we put on it. And if they have trouble digesting food, boom, IBS. If they feel like they get gassy, boom, IBS. And they
right.
just, it's literally a catch-all.
Yeah.
So
at least they can diagnose you with something.
Oh yeah, that's right. I'm trying to think of a time. I mean, obviously we've had many times like that, but a time where I barely made it, I actually had with a friend of ours. It's not as funny as your story. It's very short. We went out for ice cream, and I obviously have to be very careful with ice cream. But this place was incredibly creamy ice cream, and like when you eat it, I know when I eat it, I'm like, oh, this is gonna make me go to the bathroom because it's so creamy. You can just tell.
Right.
So I tell them when I'm with them, I'm like, we have to go home after this. And they're like, okay. But it's only 10 minutes. So
But
like,
Jim, I want to go play mini putt.
yeah, like they wanted to do other things. I was like, we have to go home first. So we're driving home, and then and everything's fine. And on the way, they're like, can we stop at CVS? We gotta get some cards for the holiday. I don't know. There's a holiday coming up. They wanted to get some greeting cards. I was like, sure, whatever, right? So we're standing at CVS, and my body was like, Jim, you have 2 minutes from this moment. And I was
Well,
like, that's what
CVS has a bathroom. Why didn't you just go to the
I was
CVS
like, with the CVS, it's like a minute from their house. So
Oh,
I
okay.
was like, let's wrap it up here, guys. Let's wrap it up. And they're like, okay, let's check out. I was like, nope, you missed your time to check out. We'll get cards on the way next time we're out. You cannot buy any greeting cards. We're going home. And they were like, what are you talking about? And like one of the other people who we were with was like in another aisle just looking at stuff. I'm like, go get that person. I'm getting in the car. We're leaving right now. And so we got there, and just getting home, every bump is like a good dish, and your body, it's like a gut punch. It's like somebody punched you in the stomach, and you're like, oh my lord. I cannot believe I clenched through that. Because that was a close one. But yes, I made that one also.
You made that one.
Yeah, it was a close one. Yeah. It's funny because
this one was probably the closest call.
closest call. I mean, you are aging now, so the calls are going to get closer.
Yeah, exactly.
Until you're going to have to at some point have a diaper.
I was so disgusted with myself that I just went and showered after.
I mean, I do feel like at some point the pain is going to supersede the food. And I know it's hard to think about, but because it's never happened to me yet, but I know it's actually happened to you.
That's right.
It's gotten to the point where you will avoid certain foods.
French fries. I know everyone loves French fries.
I can't. But
I don't eat French fries anymore.
I don't. I haven't hit that age yet. I mean, you're old.
You're older.
You're older than me by like a month or two. You're like 2 months older. But I haven't hit that age yet where there are things I'll eat, good well knowing it's gonna hurt. But I'm gonna eat them, and I'll plan my day around it. Like I'm still surprised you don't like get fries at Wendy's and just like you're at home. So
just deal with it.
Yeah.
No, it's because it's like
Is it painful?
It's not just a one-time punishment.
Oh no!
It's like a several hour-long punishment, and so
Oh my god!
I'll deal with the one-time punishments, but not the you feel awful the entire day punishments. That I don't like. Yeah.
Jeez. I don't know what to tell you except I also love French fries, but I also get smalls for that same reason. Like if I had a mega sized one, yeah, that's a problem. I think actually with me, fast food's kind of all the same. It's like if I eat it within moderation, I have to go to the bathroom because it's fast food, and like the way they process that is just like, how can we get this out of the guy's body as fast as possible?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure they add something to it,
Yeah,
just so that
he
you
can
don't
eat
process it properly.
Yeah, it kind of reminds me of like Chinese food, to be honest. Where like
That'll do it to you too.
when I eat Chinese food, I always have to go to the bathroom, whether it's a stomach ache or not. And then like when I'm done, I'm hungry again. It's like Chinese food.
Did I get any nutrition from what I just did?
I just got pain. Man. But yeah, I think with COVID now being a thing, it's actually been better for me in terms of knowing what foods trigger me. Because at my old job, I had a coworker. She was, I don't know how old she was, 30s, 40s, not 50s, but 30s or 40s. That's the thing with women. They're so beautiful, all the time. I can't tell their real age. I just
Wow, look at that sweet talk. We're winning all.
all the women listeners there. But yeah, she was, she was in her 30s or 40s, and she was telling me about like she was having stomach issues but wasn't sure what it was, and she had to do this like elimination diet. She said,
Mhm.
where she eats like the basics and then she keeps adding in foods until you figure out what it was. And I never
Yeah.
understood that because like whenever I eat something that doesn't agree with me, my body tells me that this doesn't agree with you. Like immediately.
But the problem is that like um foods these days they hide some ingredients. Like you
They
don't
do.
know that there's like extra sugar added into bread and stuff like that,
That's
or
why it's
corn
delicious.
syrup in pretty much anything,
Oh
these
yeah.
days. Anything processed at least. But but yeah, so the
If
problem with that exclusion diet is you got to eat those basics for 30 days.
30 days.
Yeah, because your body has to be completely eliminated of any trace amounts of what
Why wouldn't
gives you.
they but why wouldn't they do one of those like liquid cleanses? Doesn't that like get rid of all the stuff in your body? Like lemon
No,
juice and water?
no. Well, you just need to like get rid of everything and just be like on stock. Like, 'cause, I mean, those liquid cleanses, sure. I mean, it like pseudo cleanses, but
Mhm.
like a pure cleanse where you're like a filtration system basically. Where
Sure.
there's gonna be trace amounts in there. Sure, you can to help get rid of the trace amounts, but there's still gonna be some. And if you just keep the same clean diet for 30 days, then your body will just be like completely clean.
Hmm.
And I know a lot of people who do the exclusion diet and they just feel so great doing that clean diet that they're just like, I'm just gonna stay clean. That's it. But
Wait.
then
They
it excludes everything.
they
Like
feel
it's like
good. Maybe they felt so bad
yeah.
that physically that it's worth it to cut out these foods. But like even when I try to eat just regular healthy food for 2 days, mentally I'm broken. I'm
Yeah,
just
but after the 30-day mark, like it's become the new norm.
but
Point.
then you don't enjoy eating.
Yes, you no longer enjoy eating. That's correct.
There's few things left in life to enjoy, Steven. You remind me of when I was in college and there was this girl I knew who was like bulimic or anorexic or something. Like she was not to that state where she was like sick, but she was doing all these trends like the juice cleanses and stuff. And
Right.
one of the new trends was she would chew her food and then spit it out.
What?
And then she'd be like, "See, now I could taste it, so I enjoyed it, but then I spit it out so I don't have the calories."
That's gross. She did that in front of you?
I don't know if it was in front of me, but she told me she did it.
Oh,
I
okay.
feel like if it was honestly, college was a long time ago for us, but
She
that is
just
the
have like a chewed food purse on the
yeah.
side where she just
I kind of feel like if she did that, I would have remembered seeing it. That's not something you forget.
especially if she didn't warn you and you just see spitting it out
Oh,
onto a napkin or something would be
oh,
disgusting. Imagine
yeah.
being that waiter who has to take this napkin full of chewed
Be like, I didn't know
food.
Grandma was eating here. Oh,
Just gummed all her food.
but let's take a second to just congratulate, or not congratulate, to recognize the great quality, or at least I thought great quality of dining hall food that we had at college. Your face is so funny.
There was there was nothing I would
You
consider
hated
great
it.
quality.
I
I hate
loved
it.
the dining hall.
You
Dude,
love the dining hall?
loved every day for breakfast. They had pancakes and make your own Belgian waffles, which right off the
Yeah.
bat, you're better than most hotels. Right there. They had unlimited of every cereal with all the different milks, which was great. They had
Right.
breakfast sandwiches, bacon, egg, and cheese on croissants, all you can eat of that. They had hard boiled eggs. They had, we talked about grits and oatmeal, not one of my favorites, so I skipped over that. They had donuts. They had everything for breakfast. Lunch I
Yeah,
skipped.
the plate when I used to go to school in Alaska. I found the
Wait,
breakfast was better.
you cut out the Alaskan style breakfast.
Yeah, the Alaskan dining hall breakfast was better because what's it called? It came with sausage gravy.
What's sausage gravy? That sounds
It's like that
disgusting.
white gravy that's made with breakfast sausages that you just pour over everything. God, stuff was so good.
Oh,
Oh,
is that the stuff
so
that looks
good.
like vomit,
It's white, so I don't think it looks
but
like
it's
vomit.
chunky?
Yeah, it's chunky and white. Yeah,
Ah!
it's so good,
Ugh.
so good.
But yeah,
Yeah,
I really like the dining hall food from college compared to other colleges I've been to. Because at the time I was dating someone at a different college. My sister was at a different college. We had friends at other colleges that I would visit. And like I would have their dining hall food and be so disappointed. Like our dining hall had a pasta, make your own pasta bar. They had a chef that would make the pasta bowls for you. And
yeah.
like,
The pasta consisted of already pre-cooked everything, and he just heated it up on a pan.
hey, it is what it is, Steve. It's
It's
college.
not really make your own pasta.
But still, they
The
had a
only
lot of
thing I
stuff.
consistently ate was the like you used to have the make your own omelet. Like the guy
Oh,
would
that's right.
you got to just choose what ingredients were
Completely
in your
forgot
omelet.
about that. Yeah.
Oh, so that was good.
Yeah.
And the make your own burgers too.
Oh,
I
those were
used to do
good.
that a lot. Yeah. And
Yeah,
then
they.
anytime you would have the like chicken nuggets and
Oh, those are good.
curly fries or something. Oh, those were the best days. Chicken nuggets, curly
Yeah.
fries. God. The
Ah, I miss that food.
worst though, one time, because they don't label anything. So
What do you got to label chicken nuggets?
this time they should have,
What do you?
because it was not chicken nuggets. They were vegan chicken nuggets. And I just
Yeah.
remember biting into it and
Vegan nugget.
immediately spitting it out. I was like, what did I just eat? What is this monstrosity that I just ate? I knew immediately it wasn't chicken nuggets.
So
So,
there's
I apologize to all you vegetarians and vegans out there, but there is a clear difference.
there's a new product I saw a commercial for called Nugs, which is
Oh,
vegan
I saw
chicken
on
nuggets.
Facebook.
Dude, I saw an Instagram commercial where the guy takes a bite and for a quarter of a second you can see the shock on his face that it is not chicken. And then he immediately he's an actor, so he
Right.
immediately corrects himself to be like, these are delicious. But you can see that quarter of a second of just fear. He's like, what is this?
What is this that I just ate?
Yeah,
Yeah, this is great.
not recommend. Oh man.
Anyways, we're close to running out of time here, so we can call it. Actually, I think we're past time.
We're 2 minutes over.
2 minutes over. That's right. Okay, that's good. Thanks for joining us, guys. You can follow us, Creativity Level Zero, at any of the social media sites. We are on Instagram, though. We are creativity_level_zero, the number. We're also on Facebook. We're on Twitter. We're on, and you can follow us on any of the regular podcast stuff. Creativity Level Zero, all one word typically. And thanks for joining.
Bye.